Hello, everybody. Hello. This is Mystery Shop, interviews at the Mystery Shop. Today we got Geo Parsons,
Hey everybody, thanks for having me, Mystery Shop.
writer of 2020's Willys Wonderland. Out everywhere since 2020, really. It was like one of the first VOD, video on demand movies, yeah?
Yeah, so what happened was the COVID came, shut everything down, pushed everybody out of the movie theater, so all the movie theaters shut down. And, at the end of 2020, if you remember, Wonder Woman went directly to
84.
Wonder Woman 84 went directly to HBO, Warner Brothers, whatever it was called at the time, Max. Yeah, it went directly to there, and everybody got to stream it from home. And it was really kind of a good thing for Willys Wonderland because it kind of was a proof of concept. It was like Wonder Woman had done it. It had gone directly into everybody's homes, and you could just see it from there. And some people were still a little bit apprehensive about whether or not we should wait to put it in the theaters or we should just go directly video on demand. But for my idea behind it, and I think what everybody else kind of had a great idea, was like all these other big movies had kind of cleared the field. And so when Willys Wonderland came out, it's actually February 12th, 2021 is when it released, which was Valentine's Day weekend. All the other big movies had cleared the field. And so really it was like one of the only new things to watch. And so people that otherwise normally probably would have steered clear or not seen it or, would have caught it later on, they all watched it that weekend. So it was kind of like a big cultural thing when we were all stuck inside our homes. And it ended up kind of working out really well.
100%. I also think that I mentioned earlier, but I'll bring it up again, is how this movie finds a way to tap into our nostalgia of Chuck E. Cheese and these kind of things. It doesn't have to be necessarily Chuck E. Cheese. There was a place based on mining where I grew up that was very much the same thing. They had animatronic miners that sang, and so you're tapping into that, but you're also bringing in this like adult angle.
Yeah.
And it's like a fascination. The story alone creates a fascination. So it's almost a perfect storm by being in everyone's house,
Well, exactly. Those animatronics are always really weird and scary.
Always.
So to everybody, and they still are. You go to Disneyland, they're still kind of weird and scary.
And dead eyes.
Yeah, and the dead eyes. And I just like, I always wanted to do a horror movie where like the good guy was like not gonna take any of the not gonna take any shit from any sort of like villain. And so you think about like there's like zombies and there's vampires and there's monsters and stuff, but it's kind of funny to beat up dolls and robots. And so it's kind of like a perfect storm of like, let's get the really creepy animatronics and like let's get a really badass hero and let's just put them together and let's have a movie where the badass hero from the very start just gets to beat down these things that deep down I think most all of us would want to beat down. Like when you go to Chuck E. Cheese and we go to these different places, I mean, if they're scaring us, like, I think our deepest desire, and we don't do it because we live in like a society, but our deepest desire would just be to like put down the slice of pizza and just start smashing the thing's face in.
Fight or flight. 100%. That's what I find. What I loved about the movie is that Nick Cage's character, there's no backstory. You don't get anything. You just have this guy show up, and he's basically doing what we always want to do in these movies, essentially. Like when you're watching these movies of someone going around killing somebody or something, you're like, just grab the log and hit him in the head. Just why won't you do that? No, like that's exactly where you're coming from with this character. And also that ambiguity it creates for people to fill in that void for that origin story. There's theories online about his origin and all that, but that ambiguity I think is probably one of the most it's very captivating part of the character.
Yeah, you're right. It's like everybody gets to make up their own backstory about it, and I think Nicolas Cage has said it himself, is like whatever you believe the backstory to be, that's correct, and he kind of leaves it there, which I thought was really, really cool. And I think that if I said something like, oh, he's an alien from outer space and, he drinks the punch pop and it gives him super strength, it's like, well, that kind of ruins it, like it's just whatever your theory is probably better than what my theory would be. And Like I think that is something that's just really cool about the movie.
That's really like sage advice too for just characterization in screenwriting. I think that can be a thing that some people might be scared of because they feel like, oh, if I don't have a backstory for this character, like it has to have a backstory because the rules say so and all that. And it's like there's so many movies where you don't know that until the sequel. You know, in the sequel they'll hash out the backstory usually in these kind of movies. I'm sure if you guys were to do a Willys Wonderland sequel or prequel, it'd be like just to hash that out.
Yeah, we probably would not, and I know that I would not.
Oh, you have a prequel comic though.
We have the prequel comic, and the janitor's not in the prequel comic. But one of the things I think, even in doing the prequel comic, I think they were like, let's just steer clear of the janitor, just because there's no. Doing a backstory of the janitor again, I think it just kind of like messes up the character.
100%.
You could do a prequel with the janitor, but just kind of again, he could just be fighting some other kind of creature.
Like a Sea World.
Yeah, we've done tons of like brainstormings about future Willys Wonderlands and possible Willys Wonderlands and stuff like that. And a lot of it, I think, one of the better ideas that I talked to people about was just the janitor fighting other villains, other creatures, and other bad guys. You know, it would have to lead somewhere, but it would be fun to see the janitor fight a werewolf, and it'd be fun to see the janitor fight a sea monster. It'd be a lot more fun seeing that than it would be seeing the janitor's like upbringing or something.
Yeah,
we don't,
for sure.
We don't need that.
For sure. The coolest theory I heard is that he's the spirit of vengeance because he's also Ghost Rider. And Ghost Rider is the spirit of vengeance.
Whatever the person believes is correct.
Totally. Now you're also talking about what you're working on now,
right?
Ruby.
So yeah, I did a movie called Ruby, and that one's I kind of got held up because there's a writer's strike, and this is right now, but we're recording this in October of 2023. So there was a writer's strike for the last 6 months, and an actor's strike that is still currently going on, and so it's really halted momentum with all these movies. It's like in getting movies made, it's all just about momentum, and one thing leads to the next thing, It's like it's like Frogger. You got to keep moving forward, and as soon as you stop, you get run over. And I think that with the writer's strike and with the actor strikes, not like, let's put aside the financial gains and the historic gains everybody got from it, but just from an artist perspective, everything stopped, and so boom, you just got hit by the truck, and it slowed everything down or stopped it, and now it's coming back. And so yeah, working on a movie called Ruby, which is about a kind of it's just sort of a 90s slasher movie, if you think back to those good ones like I know you did last summer, stuff like that, where you have a killer at a resort taking people on, and we've put a little different twist to this one. So got Ruby going off. I'm here at the mystery shop promoting Beast about Boulevard, which is a new comic. Oh yeah, I forget that we're on film. Yeah. So I got the new comic coming out, and the comic book is it's two things. It's one, a great exercise for me to be able to do a comic book series and create a new story. And it's also a good way to develop new material that can be turned into movies and to turn into TV shows. A lot of the stuff, I think, anybody that's listening to us right now, they see it. It's like the 90% of the movies that you're going to see in the theaters were either based on a comic book or based on a TV show,
some IP,
or so a sequel to this or a sequel to that.
It's even getting more nebulous now with Barbie, a toy.
Exactly, a toy.
And a video game.
A lot of the toy
Mario
stuff, yeah. And I said before we started filming, I had done a script, written a script called Gloomy Bear, which is about a Japanese doll. Or an evil Japanese bear. So it's like, a lot of these movies are based on IP, and so you can either find your IP and do it, or like me with a comic book, just kind of create your own.
Yeah, just kind of Field of Dreams it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Willys Wonderland is Field of Dreams. Like you have to build it to make it happen. Like with Willys Wonderland, it was the short film, and then it was getting the script out to people, and then getting this person attached, and just like using that Frogger thing, it's like one step to the next, and then it gets made.
The whole journey just seemed very and it seems like that with life for most part.
Well, yeah, I think it's with anything. If like, it's kind of weird when movies